everybody.
Welcome back to the Neutral Zone, episode 41 of our live series. Today we're going to be talking about Georgia beating Texas on the road in Austin, new number one team in Oregon, and then Heisman odds. We definitely want to hit on the AP poll. That's definitely something that my dad brought to my attention this morning, but I purposefully didn't ask you what you want. Like, we didn't even have the conversation because I wanted to have the conversation today.
You want to keep it organic? I respect that.
Let me post a link into a few of these chats we have so that way we can get some of the people in here. It looks like somebody's already in here. Brandon's in here. What's good, man?
Who's that, Harlow? What up, Harlow?
Definitely want to know your take on
Harlow,
the Crimson Tide.
You ain't busy giving your boy plays. I ain't know if you busy. You know what I'm saying? Being the offensive coordinator. What up, Harlow? Remember when y'all said I was hyping it to build? Yeah. I mean, we're going to talk about that Alabama game. You know we are.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I guess we'll get right into it.
What up, Edgar?
Before we get into like talking about everything, what is your takeaway from obviously the biggest game of the week, the Georgia-Texas game? What is your takeaway? And I'll give mine afterwards.
My biggest takeaway from that game is that there's a lot of parity at the top. You look at the Ohio State-Oregon game. You look at that game. You look at, obviously, the Alabama-Georgia game. There's a lot of parity, and there's no telling how this is all going to work itself out. I think when you look at it, let's take, there's probably a group of 8 teams that I think are true national championship contenders. What's up, Christian? I think any of those teams can beat any of those teams, right? While this game looks like, 15-point win, well, it was a 15-point win. Different week, this game could have went the exact opposite. So yeah, I believe this game showed that there is no runaway. Bro, you had to put that on the screen. You felt like there is no runaway team. There is no 2001 Miami or the LSU team with Burrow and Chase. There's a bunch of parity, especially at the top. What's your takeaway?
My biggest takeaway from this game is kind of what you said. It is, and I know this is cliche, but it's like an any given Saturday type thing.
Yeah.
We saw Alabama look amazing against Georgia, then kind of simmer back down the next couple of weeks. We saw Tennessee look amazing early on and simmer back down. Same thing with Georgia. They looked really good against Clemson, and then they fumbled and then kind of fumbled their way, and now they're back up with a big win against Texas. I think this is going to be a situation where people are going to enjoy the 12-team playoffs.
Yeah. But
at the same time, there's going to be a lot of people that don't like it because it's going to be so hard to win. It's not like college basketball where I mean, no disrespect to basketball players. It's not a contact sport. So it's like the attrition of playing the game isn't going to add up as like a football game would be. Yeah. You're adding 2 more playoff games, and we're talking about high-level football. This is not Clemson going to play the Citadel and you can rest your players in the second half. You're playing Texas, Ohio State, Oregon, Alabama consecutively.
So you got to figure if you play in your conference championship, and let's just say you lost that game, and that's only for the purpose of doing this. If you lost that game but made the playoffs and had a national championship run, you are talking about, 17 games? That's an NFL season.
Yeah, because you'd play 12 and then the 13. Then you'd play first round, second round, third round. Yeah. So, and if you made it to the national championship, that's 17 games. And let's be honest, game 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, the last 5 are against high quality caliber opponents.
Preston ain't a hooper.
Don't get him started on that. What he thinks he is. But yeah, those are high caliber opponents you're playing against. And especially if it's based on what you're saying, where you're going to get 4 to 5 SEC teams, you're playing against physical teams every week.
Yeah.
That is going to start setting in as far as injuries concerned and stuff like that. So obviously as a college football fan, if you don't have a horse in the race, you're going to enjoy the hell out of it because it's just going to be high quality games every time. But when you're a fan of a team who's in the playoffs and you got to play Georgia in the first round, you sneak out of there with a win, but your team is banged up, and now you got to go play Ohio State. Like, obviously, it's a completely different.
It's almost going to be not who's the best team, but attrition.
Yeah, it's going to be who's the healthiest team. And I mean, we see that in professional sports every single year, especially basketball and football. So I don't really know how I feel about it, to be honest. We'll just have to see, how it looks when we finally do see it. But that's my biggest takeaway is there is no, clear number one team right now.
Now let me flip it. Because my biggest takeaway from the weekend is that we might need to start taking Indiana serious. Them boys stumped Nebraska. I watched a part of that game and they look for real. And let me say this, obviously I'm a Big Ten fan. Ohio State has Indiana on their schedule. This is a game that I never even looked at and was concerned about, and even as they ran off 4-0, 5-0, I'm still like, hey, they're going to come back to earth. This Indiana team is not legit. And I'm not saying Nebraska's world beaters, but to beat them 56-7, put some validity on that team. And now this is a game that I think you got to look at and be like, let's start putting some respect on Indiana's name. Again, they still have some big games coming up. They have Washington, they have Michigan, they have Ohio State. Do I think they're going to make it out of that undefeated? No. But do I think that they are a better team than a lot of people are giving them credit for? Absolutely. And is this now a game where I got to say, as an Ohio State fan, hey, we better bring our A game because Indiana has the ability to beat us? Absolutely. Again, I think this is a team that can make some noise.
Yeah, I think this week is going to be another week where we're going to get a lot of quote unquote upset alerts. And I'm not saying the top teams are going to lose, but I wouldn't be surprised if Pitt lost to Syracuse this week. I wouldn't be surprised if Boise State lost to UNLV on the road. Wouldn't be surprised if Notre Dame lost on the road at Navy. I mean, they lost to NIU early on in the year. I don't think it's going to happen, but I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if Washington beat Indiana, Oklahoma beat Ole Miss. I wouldn't be surprised if UCF beat BYU, if Missouri beat Alabama. So there's a lot. Florida State. I'm going to be surprised if Florida State beat Miami, and that's just me being honest. Because it's a rivalry game. And Miami has looked awful, even though they're undefeated. They lost almost 3 of the last 4 games.
These guys are escape artists at this point. And so part of it is I got to give them some credit, right? It seems that late in games they're able to find a way. I think having Cam Ward.
You want to answer this question as well after you're done?
I heard Army and another branch.
And he's actually being genuine. He's not even trying to be funny.
So Army and Navy, he said another branch because he's not being genuine, or else he would have wrote Navy up there.
Maybe I don't know.
Army and Navy, obviously top 25 teams. The hard part for them always has been they are triple option teams, and you don't prepare for that all season. So you have 1 week to prepare to play a triple option team that literally runs a lot of misdirection, and you have to gap feel. And if you miss one gap, somebody's gone. So they're a hard team to prepare for. Do I think they're actually good? I think they're actually good schematically. I don't think athlete for athlete they can line up with some of these other teams, but I think they can give anybody fits for one game because it's such a unique concept, it's such a unique offense. And again, you don't prepare for it often. It is truly, you have to play the most disciplined football of your life to really stop that triple option. And especially when either one of those teams has a guy like the Army quarterback who's I think probably leading college football in rushing touchdowns. He had 5 this past weekend. A guy who's actually a bit of a game breaker, a guy who's a bit of an athlete. It can be a game wrecker. I have concern. Navy plays Notre Dame this weekend. Again, Notre Dame just probably has better athletes. Red Smith says he's an Army vet. Thank you for your service. But yeah, Notre Dame probably has better athletes. Notre Dame is probably going to win the game. But again, this is a tough matchup for anybody because it is such a unique offense and you don't have the time to truly prepare for it.
Yeah, I mean, I looked at the percentages earlier. Army has a higher chance to make the playoffs than Clemson does.
Really?
And it's, I mean, based on the post I saw, but I follow that page for a reason. It's not a biased page. It's like just a regular college ball page. So then they have like a 47% chance, I think, to make the playoffs. So almost 50% chance, which is kind of crazy. But yeah, so I do want to pull this up because we talked a little bit about it. Well, we didn't talk about it. You brought it up, but we didn't actually get into it. What is your gripe about the AP poll? Because you had messaged me that. So what's
But
your
I
gripe
can't.
about it?
What's wrong with the screen? There
You
it is.
can you see it or no?
I can see it now. All right.
Put them damn glasses on. They don't work, bro.
But the screen didn't go big for a second. It was everybody. Go ahead and tell them in the chat. All right. So my first gripe. No knock to Georgia. Obviously a big win at Texas. But how do you jump them over Penn State? And this is my gripe. If you jump them over Penn State saying that, hey, I think they're a better team than Penn State. Well, I think most people would say Ohio State's a better team than Penn State. So why? So my gripe isn't that Georgia jumped to 2. My gripe is if you're going to jump Georgia over an undefeated Penn State, then why didn't Ohio State also jump an undefeated Penn State? Right? So it's how are we doing this? What is the criteria? Is it what team looks the best? Because again, Ohio State to me, and obviously I'm an Ohio State fan. So if you guys believe I'm out of bounds here, please say so.
Wait, say it again. Why is Georgia above Penn State, but Ohio State's not?
Yeah, because this is the thing. If you're basing it off record, then Penn State should be number 2. If you're basing it off who looks better, I'm okay with Georgia jumping Penn State, but then I would say Ohio State also looks better than Penn State. They lost the game by 1 point on the road in a crazy atmosphere, and literally that game came down to one call. And I'm no knock to Oregon. Oregon's a very good team and deserving of being number 1, but they lost to the number 1 team in the nation by 1 point in their home, and literally had an opportunity to win that game. If that Jeremiah Smith call goes the other way or isn't called, they probably win that game. But you have Georgia jump them based off of a Texas win, which cool, but the only way you would do that is if you say, I just think they look better, because Penn State obviously has a better record. So if we're doing it based off of the look test, then I would say Ohio State should jump Penn State too. Ohio State is going to be a big favorite against Penn State in Penn State.
Are they?
You don't think they'll be a favorite?
I didn't say favorite. I said big favorite.
I would say right now they're probably double-digit favorite, and I'm not looking.
When do y'all play them?
I can't remember.
It doesn't tell me the line right now because it's too far out. Double-digit favorite is crazy.
I think they'll be double-digit favorites. Now, I'm not saying they're going to win, and I'm not saying they're going to win by double digits. I think they'll be double-digit favorites.
I don't know if I can find the line. The only pushback I would say on that is, I mean, it's hard to say. Now, Ohio, I think Ohio State at 4 is not bad, but I agree that Georgia's at 2. I mean, I think the Texas win was the biggest win of the season so far, especially when you go and beat them on the road.
So I wouldn't, okay, and I'll give them credit for that.
Because Ohio State lost on the road, and that's the best loss.
I will also, in comparison, I will say, in hindsight, they have a much worse loss. You lost to a number 15 team. Ohio State lost to the number 1 team by 1 on the road.
What is Ohio State's best win, though?
Oh, well, they don't have a great win.
Well, I think that's part of it too. That would be my.
But they have a better loss. So again, apples to oranges. But I feel like the criteria isn't the same, because to me, what I thought coming in, I'm okay with Georgia jumping Ohio State. I'm okay with that. What I'm not okay with is Georgia jumping Penn State. And if you're going to jump Penn State, if you're going to do it once, and you're saying based off of better loss or whatever the case may be.
What's Penn State's best win?
It doesn't matter. They're undefeated.
Well, I think it does matter, because if that's the case, you'd have Iowa State and BYU above everybody too.
Well, then why are they number 3? So obviously you think they're pretty good. They were above Georgia last week.
But they started off at, I think, number 8 or 9, if I'm not mistaken. Right. So they've only moved up 6 spots. So I mean, they were already looked at as a top 10 team, and teams in front of them lost.
And they have not.
But what I'm saying is, so you're saying Penn State should have either stayed in front of both Georgia or Ohio State, or should be behind both Georgia and Ohio State. That's your argument.
Agree. That is my argument.
But what I'm saying is, so Ohio State doesn't have a very good win. or I'm not saying very good win. Doesn't have a
Yeah,
eye-popping
go on.
win. Penn State doesn't have an eye-popping win, but Georgia does. That's what I'm saying.
I'm trying to find this line.
And it's the same concept as Texas too. Texas doesn't really have an eye-popping win. They just have the loss to Georgia.
Which and I'm fine with, but that the initial reason that Texas got moved above everybody was that Michigan win.
Yeah, but I mean, I think as the season progresses, we see that win is not as great as it was early on.
Right. But so what I'm also saying to that point, what I'm also saying is as the season has progressed, we're starting to see that Alabama loss is a much worse looking than we initially thought.
Yeah, I think that's the case as well. But I mean, like I said, it's hard to say when you're the only team in the top 5. Well, obviously Oregon has a top 5 win. They're undefeated, so I'm not comparing them to other one-loss teams.
Oregon's deserving to be a 1.
They of the one-loss teams, they have the best win right now. I mean, yeah, they have the best win of the one-loss teams. So I'm not super mad at it. And also, it is. There's no way.
I'm looking at okay.
And I mean, it's just, you could say the same thing for a Clemson, because Clemson's loss is a number 2 team. I don't think, I mean, them at 9 is fine. I don't really care for it.
Yeah. So in that same vein, right?
Tennessee.
Like if you did that, Clemson lost to now the number 2 team, right? So Clemson should be right next to Ohio State.
Yeah, but I think it matters when you lose. I think that's a big thing. When you lose matters. Where you lose matters. And I think your wins matter as well.
But okay, so if you said Clemson's loss looks bad because they lost big to and I'm gonna use big relatively, but I'm gonna use it in terms of final score. They lost big to Georgia. Cool. Well, then you have to give Ohio State credit because they lost by 1 on the road with literally an opportunity to win the game, but except for a call.
Well, I think Ohio State's getting the credit for that though. That's why they're the second ranked number 1 loss team.
But okay, so then why? Well, and it's all at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter. It's all going to work itself out.
Yeah, because I mean,
I'm not super tripping over it.
The only one loss team they're behind. The only one loss team they're behind is Georgia, and like I said, I think Georgia has the best win of anyone outside of Oregon. I think Oregon has the best win right now, obviously because Ohio State's number 4, but Georgia has the second best win in the win over Texas on the road in Texas. So I mean, really, in my opinion, I think Georgia has the best win in college football because I think it was harder to win on the road against Texas than it was for Oregon to beat Ohio State at home. Obviously, we saw that environment in person. So, I mean, we weren't at the Texas game, so we don't know how it was.
Yeah, I'm sure that environment was crazy too.
And
let me say this, and credit to Georgia because they beat them handily, right? Like there was a point in the third quarter where it looked like Texas was coming back a little bit, but they beat them handily. I mean, there was no controversy. It was a very one-sided win.
But one thing I do want to say about this. Obviously, this is like an AP poll, so it's like a bunch of people who throw their ballot in, they average it out or whatever. But my biggest thing to me is the drop off from 6 to 7 with the points. So they feel like there is 6 and then it's like a cliff pretty much. I mean, if you look at the points, because from 6 to 1, it's a 200 point or 300 point difference. But from 6 to 7, it's a 200 point difference. So like even from 3 to 6, it's 100 points. So you were saying all those teams, and again, I understand I'm a Clemson fan. Like I get that, but I don't think Miami is a better team than Clemson based on what we've seen. I don't think that's the case.
And again, so what I would say is, because I would tell you that I think non-Clemson fan, I'm going to go 6, 7, 8, 9. I think if all of those teams played each other, it'd be a toss-up. Right? It could go either way. If I go Miami, Tennessee, LSU, Clemson,
I mean,
one of those matchups.
The same thing goes for Penn State. I mean, I don't think Penn State is way better than anyone.
But my point is that I don't think that there's a 200 point difference between Miami and Tennessee. And again, now you got to say that Tennessee has a pretty good win, even though Alabama, that's their second loss now. But they have a pretty good win. LSU has some again, at least mediocre wins. So I would say that those 4 teams are much closer than 200 points. I'm agreeing with your point.
Yeah, I don't know why it's like that, but again, it's the AP is just a bunch of voters.
Especially when you look at, again, to your point earlier, the Miami Virginia Tech win, literally, and I mean literally, if they don't overturn a call, Miami has a loss. And that was obviously a very controversial call anyway. And then you go out, and I think you've had 2 other games. The Cal game where they had to literally make a dramatic comeback in the 4th quarter. And then this game where this game went down to the wire against what I wouldn't call world beater teams. Like, those aren't teams that, a top 5 team, top 6 team should be playing close with. And I'll give you, and like I've said before, I'll give you one. Hey, bad week. Teams have that. But this now seems to be week in and week out with Miami.
Yeah, this week or this next week, they play Florida State, I said, which obviously they're 1-6, but it is a rivalry game. They're a 21-point favorite. But after the Florida State game, they play Duke. Duke has been good this year, surprisingly. And then they have Georgia Tech, Wake Forest, and Syracuse.
If you had to bet right now, would you bet that Miami goes into the ACC championship game with a loss or
no?
Undefeated?
They're going to be undefeated. I think and it's not even because I think they're super good. It's almost like a destiny thing at this point. Like, they've almost lost like 3 or 4 games, and it's just somehow, some way, the calls go their way, the ball bounces their way. And another thing I thought of, and this could be like me just being a conspiracy theorist, but like, no, hear me out. Seriously. Like, okay, so let's say, so Miami plays against a team like Cal, right?
Okay.
They have ACC refs, ACC people in the call. Why is it that what I think it should be, there shouldn't be specific refs for specific conferences. The reason why I say that is because, especially with how the playoffs are now, and I'm not saying it's rigged. That's not what I'm saying. But if they know, okay, Louisville is a top 10 team, Cal is a 2-5 team, Florida State's
you feel like the conference can get in their ear and say
they need a team we got to keep Miami alive and Clemson alive, so that way we have a chance to have 2 people in the conference or in the playoffs. Why is it that they do that? Because I know in other really big games, if it's SEC versus Big Ten, they'll bring in a Pac-12 ref crew or ref. So I don't understand why they.
So you think it should be more like the NFL, where it's just whatever game you get assigned.
Yeah, it's just a giant group of refs that come in and they ref games. It shouldn't be, these are ACC officials, because then again, like I said, there's a lot of calls that go, and I'm like, how is that not a call? And again, it's all conspiracy. But again, it's like a destiny thing with Miami. There's been 3 or 4 games where it's like, I know they're going to lose this game, and then they somehow win at the last second. So it's like, it gets to a point where even if, like I said, even if they don't beat Clemson at the end and they're 12-1, they're going to get in. So it's just it's super weird to me. It's very weird.
When you have your own refs, because the question becomes, are they paid by the conference? And if they are, which again I would assume, because you're an ACC ref, if I'm being paid by the conference, then if I'm the conference commission, because again, the conference commissioner obviously wants as many teams in the playoffs as possible, because hey, that boosts up our conference.
Exactly.
So may I say, hey, we really need Miami to not lose this game. Yeah, obviously I hope it doesn't happen, but I wouldn't be shocked to find out that it does.
Yeah, and before someone finds this video either now or later and corrects me, I don't know if that's the case. I'm just saying I don't know why.
What's the case?
Why is it that they have these own officiating crews?
Now I'm going to assume that, and again, especially prior to this year, it was because most conferences were regionally based.
Yeah.
So then you didn't have to have people flying all over the world.
But at the end of the day, college football is a multi-million-dollar industry.
Yeah.
So I think we can afford a $300 flight if we need to send a ref to Buffalo and then to Austin, Texas, next week. I think college football can afford that.
Yeah.
And again, it
may also be that based off of the way it is now, the conferences have to pay for the ref. then that money would have to go to the NCAA because then the NCAA has to pay for the ref.
Yeah, I mean, so
But I don't know.
To answer your question, I think they'll be undefeated. I think it's kind of like that not plateau, but it's kind of like peaks and valleys. Like I think we've seen the worst of Miami in the regular season. And again, I'm not a Miami supporter. That's not what I am, but I would be very surprised if this playing to the last second, playing with fire type thing continues. But then again, I've said from the beginning, Mario Cristobal is not a very good coach. I've said that from the beginning. So I mean, I don't think I
say, yeah, you have.
I don't again, but I think the Louisville game was a game they had circled because it was on the road. Obviously, the Florida game was on the road, or it was neutral site. It might have been. So I think really the last two games that I would say I am kind of interested to see how it shakes out is the Florida State game, because it is, like I said, Florida State, that might be the last game that Florida State really wakes up for this year, because it's a rivalry game.
Because they lose that one, your season's over.
And then Syracuse. I think having to go win in Syracuse in the Dome is a hard thing to do. Take it from a Clemson fan. We've lost there before, and it's not an easy place to play. They're 5-1 right now. So I do think Syracuse could be a trap game at the very end of the season. But with that being said, at that point in the season, they may already clinch their spot in the AC title game, so the game really may not even matter. Even being 11-1 and they lose again in the AC title game, if you're 11-2, you're probably going to get in that 9 to 11 spot or whatever. But I'm excited to see how this season unfolds for them.
Updated opinion, right? And I know they're not getting as much press, but do you have an updated take
about this
on?
Go ahead.
What'd you say?
No, I think I know where you're going with this, but go ahead.
On Colorado.
Oh, I thought you were going with SMU. Colorado, that was a big win against Arizona. And it's funny because I think I said we might have had a show, but I think I was talking to Brandon. I was very excited to see the Hunter versus McMillan matchup. I know Hunter got hurt. McMillan didn't have a big game.
Didn't play the second half.
Arizona, I think it's more so to speak about how bad Arizona is this year. Now, don't get me wrong. Colorado's 5-2. I think they're going to win 7 or 8 games, which is really good. But and I previously predicted 6-6, I think.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think they're definitely above what I projected.
But I will say Arizona has flopped. And it's sad because I said this like a month ago. I said this is not one of those teams where I want to see like fallout, and like one of the most historic. That's a bad word to use. One of the best duos from quarterback and receiver play we've seen in a while.
Historic.
One of the best quarterback wide receiver duos we've seen in a while kind of doesn't matter because they're going to be a team that's 4-8 or 5-7.
And they're going to be up 4-8, 5-17.
And it's very, like I said, it's very sad to see because we saw McMillan kind of go crazy the first 2 or 3 weeks, and I was thinking this guy might win the Biletnikoff. This guy could be in Heisman contention, and then it's absolutely fallen from underneath them. So kind of sucks. Dabo Swinney does use the portal, McMillan. If you wanted to come over to Clemson, we have a few Hawaii guys already there. If you wanted to come over, he does recruit out of Hawaii. So you let me know. I could put in a word for you with Tristan.
Yeah, you go put in a word?
Yeah, I'll put in a word for you. But yeah, that's my bigger takeaway. But I think based on Colorado's remaining schedule, I don't know if I'm willing to say they'll make the Big 12 title game, just because there's so many teams that are up there right now. BYU, Iowa State, Kansas State, Texas Tech. Obviously, they lost to Kansas State, so they have the tiebreaker over them. So they would need Kansas State to lose 2 games, and they would need Iowa State and BYU to both lose 2 games in conference. So I don't know if that is a feasible thing right now. But still, I mean, if you're 5-2, and now I don't think this is going to happen, but you have a chance to get to double-digit wins, which by this point last year, you were looking at being able to get to bowl eligibility. So, no, he's saying that because today I was telling him we're going to go to the Oregon game and how I'm going to wear Oregon gear. And he was like, listen, relax.
Yo, you wildin'.
I'm not wildin'. How is that crazy?
You cried the whole day about wearing an Ohio State hoodie because no.
But this is the difference. When was the last time you've been to a college football game that didn't have Ohio State or Clemson in it?
I've been to a bunch of. I went to. I was about to say Clemson, Florida State. I went to Florida, Georgia. I went to Florida, Vanderbilt.
At the Florida, Georgia game, did you wear Florida or Georgia gear?
No.
But you gonna sit here and tell that lie?
I did not wear Florida or Georgia. Oh, Florida, Georgia. Yes, I wore Georgia gear. Florida Vanderbilt, I didn't wear.
Why did you wear Georgia gear?
Because I went with a bunch of Georgia fans. But let me explain the
this
difference.
This dude is a fraud.
Hold on. I do that.
No, he's not. He wore a Georgia Bulldog shirt.
Do that. No. I do that. I have no issue doing that. You are the person who felt, I feel like a fraud.
This is the difference. This is the difference. Matter of fact, hold on. This is the difference. If we were at Ohio State, I wouldn't have felt any type of way because I'm in the environment with a bunch of Ohio State fans. It's not the same thing when you're at. Brandon, get in the chat, bro. Get in the chat because he's bugging right now. Get in the chat.
This man trying to call it.
He's going to explain what I mean because he understands what I'm saying. We had this conversation.
So I do that. I am an Ohio State fan, but when I go to most games, but I didn't when I went to the Florida Vanderbilt game. But when I go to most games, I wear a shirt.
That's my point, though.
Just like I can go in my closet right now. I have an Orlando Magic jersey.
That's my point, though. That's my point.
But I do that. You personally, I feel like such a fraud.
Okay. When we went to the Portland Trailblazers game, what did I wear?
Again, did you not continue to complain about?
You're not listening to what I'm saying. It was an away game. That's why I feel like
whether it's away or home?
I
feel like I'm being a traitor to Clemson.
Listen, when I go to a college football game or a sporting event, if I don't have a horse in the race, I want to immerse myself in that environment. I'd rather wear the Oregon gear. Or yourself. For example, when I went to the WSU game, I wanted to buy a Washington State hoodie. I just didn't get up from my seat. I went in there with a regular polo, but my intention was to go there and wear a Washington State hoodie. But it was 95 degrees outside.
This man cried.
Bama. The question is, Bama.
Whole
listen.
Day about wearing an Ohio State hoodie.
Let me know when you're done. You ready?
From the moment we got out of the car to the end of the game.
Bama, the question is, when you go to a game, a sporting event, or we'll say college football, just keep it college football. When you go to a college football game and you're when you're going to a college football game and it's not Alabama, it's Syracuse versus Pitt and it's at Pitt, are you not going to wear a Pitt attire?
Because you are not representing the full question, which again, I am saying I do that. Saying, the bigger point is when you did it at the Oregon game.
What's the difference though? What is
the
Ohio State was the road team. See what I just said? Ohio State was the road team.
He's saying that I do it too.
And that's what I'm saying I want to do. What's the issue with that?
But when you did it with Ohio State, you complained
you're comparing apples to oranges.
It's not
Ohio State was the road team.
It's not like it was 3 Ohio State fans.
Ohio State was the road team.
So that's the only reason you had issue with it.
Yes, I don't want to be. Before the game started, when Oregon was coming out, when I was recording the videos, what was I not saying? Was I not hype?
Yeah, I was hype.
Okay, but what I'm saying, I was
like, yo, that was dope. Did I not say it?
No, but what I'm saying is, so if we were in Ohio State, I would have wore Ohio State gear because you're around a bunch of Ohio State fans. The same way, if I go to an Oregon game, I'm going to wear Oregon stuff because I'm not going to wear Illinois gear next week.
Did you not say I feel like a fraud to Clemson? You didn't say I feel like a fraud to Oregon. You said I feel like a fraud to Clemson.
I'm going to feel like a fraud no matter what gear I wear. Yes, if we go to a UW game, I'm wearing Washington gear. If I go to the only gear I won't wear is Florida State. That's the only, and South Carolina.
People who do that, like I said, I do it. So if I go to a game, normally.
So how am I a fraud when I do it?
I'm only saying, this is my thing. I'm only saying you are a fraud, not for doing it. I'm saying you are a fraud because how much you complained about doing it wearing Ohio State gear.
Wait, but do you know why I complained? Do you know why I complained? Because as we're walking around the stadium, you're trying to paint me as an Ohio State fan. That's not the case, bro. That's not the case. You gotta immerse yourself. This dude around the stadium, some 08s smack me in my chest. You better say I-O. Like, I'm not saying it, bro.
Immerse yourself. No, I'm giving you the full Ohio State road experience.
See, it's not.
What's up, Duck?
Listen, it's not. There's no Ohio State road experience. Take me to the horseshoe. Take me to the horseshoe, and then I'll do all your chants. We'll dot the I together.
Wait a minute. Now, and I'm going to give, and if you guys, and I know we didn't do a video afterwards, and let me say, I know Dane's in here as well. Absolutely an electric environment. Atson, if you guys have an opportunity,
and that's
if
why
you're
I'm
in the
going this
Northwest,
year. And I'm
if I
going
had an opportunity to go again, and obviously my son lives up there, I am sure that we will go back to another Oregon game. And in that game, again, depending on who they're playing, I might wear Oregon gear.
You might,
but again, I do that. But you have to admit that part of the experience and part of that environment was the number of Ohio State fans there too.
No, for sure.
It's not like we was out there deep.
But what I'm saying is, if you're an Ohio State fan, you're not going to go down to where they're walking in, you know, the players are walking in where Dylan Gabriel got laid and everything. Yeah. You're not going to go do that as an Ohio State fan. You're not going to go to all the tailgating things they have as an Ohio State fan. Agreed. That's what I'm saying. The same way if you were to go to a Clemson game, if you're a Notre Dame fan, you're not going to go to the Tiger Walk. You're not going to do those type of things.
But I went to the Tiger Walk and I had a good time.
No, but you went because you went with me as a Clemson fan.
That's now is it okay? If I had gone by myself, which again, I wouldn't have done all that, but that was about okay. And let me tell you the difference. I put on all Clemson gear and did not complain one time. I didn't. I feel like
you're right. There's a big difference. You know what the difference was?
It was a road game.
It was a road game. That's the difference. There was 80,000 Clemson fans at that stadium.
I ran on the field. I'm taking pictures with Clemson players. I was all in. This man complained the entire day. In fact, I'm sorry, because I said when we got in the car, you complained on the way up there that you had to wear it.
You know the crazy part is, while we're sitting there, I was going to say something super disrespectful, so I'm not going to do it. But I had this skank next to me.
Oh, don't do it. You wildin'. Don't do that.
Touching me, thinking that I'm getting harassed because I got this damn hoodie on. When I'm
okay, that had nothing to do with you being an Ohio State fan. That was just
a
drunk lady next to
me. If I had on an Oregon hoodie, you think she gonna be grabbing my nipples?
She might have been grabbing you even more. No. You might have been. Oh, you might have had to put in a real. My daughter-in-law may have ran up there. You had an Oregon. Oh, you with her? Oh yeah, no. Be happy you had that Ohio State on.
No, that's the reason. She reaching across, touching people
every time they scored. She might have grabbed your junk. No. She might have been cupping balls. You lucky you had that Ohio State gear on. It saved the marriage. You had to go back and tell your wife that somebody in here was grabbing on your Frankenweenie.
And then you had the dude behind me trying to make me an orphan because I had the Ohio State.
That man was trying. Hey, you don't have to listen to your dad. Don't rock with your dad. Like, bro, I'm right here. That's my real son.
And that's because you know why? That's because I had the Ohio State shirt on. That's exactly.
But again, and again, man, if you, like I said, if you guys get an opportunity, and I'd like to go back. I'd like to go back where I'm in a place where I'm not so emotionally invested. Obviously, like I said, big Ohio State fan, great game. And I think because it was such a great atmosphere and such a great game, I didn't take in. You guys, if you guys know me, I take Ohio State losses pretty hard. But
I'm not gonna lie, I felt like hold on. Let me speak on this.
Go ahead.
Listen. I'm a great son, man. I'm a great son. Listen, when I tell you, listen. When I tell you I supported this man through rough times last weekend or 2 weekends ago, man. Listen, man, this dude, I had to make sure this dude was mentally all right, man. I had to make sure this dude was good, man. I had to keep his spirits up, man. This dude was, I just hope that he would have did that for me had Clemson lost when we was there.
I don't ever fuck with you if Clemson.
And I've actually had this conversation before because I would say like maybe between like 2013 and like 2016, maybe. Like when Clemson would lose or Ohio State would lose, like we would do like jabs at each other.
Yeah.
But I feel like I don't know when it turned to where like I didn't really bug you and you didn't bug me.
Yeah, because I realized I don't like it. You know what I'm saying? I'd be mad for real. I'll be really like this is what I try to tell people, and people think it's a joke. Like if Ohio State loses, because and I know you get it the same way, and I'm sure Bama and people who are passionate fans of somebody. And I'm going to be honest. If you are kind of a a lukewarm college football fan, listen, I am passionate about Ohio State. I'm very, very passionate. So I hate that when Ohio State loses or they have a tough game or they don't look great, all the messages I get, all the people talking trash, especially people that I know don't even know college football. Like you're doing it just, and I don't take the shit funny. I'm not the he kind of fan. Like I be really wanting to fight. You know what I'm saying? So like I'm not the type that just oh they lost. You got me. No, I really want to come see you about the message you sent me. So you know what I'm saying? So I really take it like that. Like, yo, we gotta next time I see you, I want to beat your ass. Because I'm not. So I said, hey man, I really don't like it. I'm not, and so part of my thing is, hey, I don't do that to nobody else. I don't fuck with other people when I know that, hey, you're passionate about your team. I don't fuck with you about, hey, your team lost. I understand. I've been on the other side, obviously, and I'd be really wanting to fight. So I wouldn't be mad if motherfuckers were, hey, Steven, get that from me. He get that from me. But I'd be mad for real because and like I said, I know Steven because he gets the same thing. My phone blows up when Ohio State loses. And I don't think the shit's funny, and I don't think it's cute to all of a sudden, hey, you gonna message me, and I don't think the shit's cute.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie though. I feel like I get it worse than anybody. The only reason why I say that,
I don't think so.
The reason why I say that is because there's not many Clemson fans that people know. Like of my friends, like I know I'm Edgar's only friend that's a Clemson fan. I know that's like all my friends. I'm pretty sure I'm the only Clemson fan, unless they're friends with like Scott because Scott played there or something like that. But you know,
would Scott call himself a Clemson fan? I know he also went to Oregon.
Well, he supports Clemson, so
okay.
I would say that, but I mean, he wasn't a Clemson fan until he went there. That's for sure. He was a Gator. I know that for a fact. I used to get it back until I blocked everyone.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I am passionate. You could do it to me with the Bengals. You could do it to me with the Rays. You could do any of the Ohio State. Like I really like. So Steven will tell you, I normally, if Ohio State loses, like I normally won't talk to nobody for like a week. I should. Hey, back when he was a kid, man, the house would get cold. Everybody's scared to talk. Everybody walking around on eggshells in the house.
I don't even remember like any big losses that Ohio State took when I was younger.
Well, I'm gonna go back. So if you guys remember back in the day, Ohio State, I think 2 or 3 times played Clemson in like bowl games.
But yes, was sick. He had me on punishment.
And Clemson got him.
I think that was around the No. That was I didn't say anything to you. I didn't talk trash.
No, you didn't. No. So I also say I am like there were people that will invite me, like, oh man, you want to come watch no, I don't want to watch the game with you. I like watching the game by myself. I like screaming at the TV. I like, you know what I'm saying? I'm not because you're gonna say something slick in that moment. Like I got a Michigan fan named Jess. He's been asking me to come watch the Ohio State Michigan game for years with him. Like, no, bro, like I really like you, and I will punch you in your shit if you say something smart at the end of the game. My best friend in the world, Sean, literally, what game did we watch? And it was an Ohio State Clemson game, I think. I watched it with him, and like I stormed out like my best friend. I didn't talk to that motherfucker like a month because he thought it was cool. Like, and Clemson I remember,
Clemson won?
Yeah, I think Clemson. It was the game. It was the time I think y'all beat us like 31-0.
How did you watch that game with him? That was a while ago.
Maybe it wasn't. It was some game. Maybe it was Ohio State. Maybe it was Ohio State, Michigan. But some game, yeah. And I stormed out because he thought it was funny. Like I told him before, man, I really don't want to watch this game with nobody. Oh man, it'll be. Bruh, I was so motherfucking hot. I don't, like I said, bruh, I'm not the casual, that was funny, they lost. Like, I'd be really wanting to fight. No. But, all right, back to, so quickly, what's your thoughts on the Heisman? Because we're in a weird place, especially, obviously, Travis Hunter didn't play most of the game.
I mean, I think it's Ashton Genty's to lose. I mean, I think Carson Beck he's out of it.
Yeah, he's out of it.
Quinn Ewers is out of it. Yeah. Hunter missing time. I don't know if he's going to be in it anymore. I think Jalen Milroe losing, he's out of it. What other player? I mean, Dylan Gabriel.
Dylan
I think
Gabriel.
Dylan Gabriel, Ashton Genty. Who else am I missing?
Cam Ward.
And Cam Ward.
And that's who they're probably going to say is so they have Cam Ward, I think, is the favorite right now.
Yeah, Cam Ward's probably going to get it now that I'm thinking about it because I don't see. I think he's had 300 yards and 3 touchdowns for the first 7 games. So he's over, like 2,500 yards, give or take.
So I'm gonna give you a stat line. Yeah, 25, 38, 24 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. Yeah, I think
being undefeated too. So
right now, especially if you think he's gonna stay undefeated. What's up?
Right now, Ashton Genty has the best odds. Cam Ward has the second best odds. Dylan Gabriel's at 3rd, and Cade Klubnik is at 4th. Let me find out Cade in New York, man.
Klubnik is, I mean, again, credit to him. Klubnik has been playing good football. Like, no, not. Like, that's a fact. He's been playing good football.
Yeah, he's at 1,800 yards, 20 touchdowns, 3 picks.
Yeah, no. I wouldn't be shocked if he
Indiana
ended up in
quarterback has been getting some love. Let me see if he's on the list. Let me see.
Like I said, bro, hey, start looking out Indiana. That's not. I don't think that's.
Is that Curtis Rourke? Is that him?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, he has the 9th best odds.
9th. Okay. They don't have nobody Ohio State. Will Howard or Jeremiah.
Will Howard has like the 15th best odds.
Okay.
And Jeremiah Smith's right behind him.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I would say it's Ashton Genty's to lose.
You just said Cam Ward. You done went 3 different ways.
Well, I mean, I think it just depends. If Ashton Genty doesn't play in the second half of games, it's hard to play. And when
now, how much are you concerned, especially when you do have another competitor? How much are you concerned about a group of 5 guy?
I mean, I think if he breaks the rushing record, I don't think it matters. I mean, personally, because how many group of 5 running backs have we seen since then and hasn't broken it? So we can't say it's a lack of competition if no one else has done it. So I would like to see Genty win it. And
I think to your credit, Genty also did go off against, and obviously they lost the game, but he went off against Oregon, like almost 200 yards against Oregon. So
he's at 1,200 yards and 17 touchdowns right now, and they have played 6 games. So he's on pace for
is averaging 10 yards a carry.
He's on pace for 2,500 yards and 34 touchdowns. So a little bit short of the record, but again, it's hard when you're getting benched, and Cam Ward is not going to get benched because they play to the wire.
Well, and remember, you say 2,500 yards, and we'll cut touchdowns.
Oh, he's talking. He said.
The other part is if you figure Boise State possibly plays in a conference championship, and then Boise State plays in the play, and remember, postseason yards
they matter.
Go to they count.
Oh well, yeah, he'll break it then if that's the case.
Now again, they're still.
Well, no, I mean you got to think. He's going to play in the conference championship game,
right?
And he's going to play in at least a bowl game.
Yeah.
So really,
that's 14 games.
Yeah. So he has really 8 more games left. So if you do the math, I mean, he doesn't even need to average his. He doesn't even have to get to his average in order to meet that. Yeah, I don't think he was talking about that game though. To be honest,
that may have been the game where we were talking about just in the house.
Yeah, probably. I don't remember. But yeah, I would say Genty or Ward. I'd like to see Cade Klubnik at least get to New York, though. That would be pretty cool, considering that we've never even had anybody go to New York.
Wait a minute. Deshaun Watson went, didn't he?
Did he?
Deshaun Watson had to go. He had to have. Now, I know he didn't win, but he had to have gone.
I don't remember.
Buddy, you wildin'. I'm looking this up now.
He might have, but I don't remember. He didn't win it, so. Did Trevor go?
But I can't see because everything is talk. And I'm assuming Trevor went. Bro, did you, speaking of, and this is a little off topic, but did you see the Browns fan booed Deshaun Watson? Cheered Deshaun Watson getting hurt?
Yeah, it's crazy. I think his career is over, to be honest. I think he's done.
Why you say that? People come back from ACLs.
Yeah, but he came back from the shoulder surgery as well. All this off the field stuff looked like crap. Tear his Achilles. I
Do
mean,
you think he's just going to use that as his reason and just be like, "Hey, man,
well, I don't
I'm
think
good"?
that's the reason, but I mean,
Well, I mean, I'm saying with everything else.
yeah, I mean, I think it's a big part of it because I know it's a college football thing, but this is important to talk about. I think. I just think, I mean, what and for him, I know he's like super emotional, but I think after a week or two goes by, he's gonna realize like, I got $200 million guaranteed.
Yeah, come back for what? Yeah.
Like, what's the point to come back and
Well,
get criticized?
I don't think it's guaranteed if he retires.
Well, I mean, he doesn't have to really retire.
Yeah, he could just. I'm gonna stay on the payroll for 2 more years.
Yeah, I mean,
and get another $70 million
because
while I'm rehabbing.
all he has to say is he's rehabbing and he's not ready to come back yet. And I mean, he's one of the most most highest paid quarterbacks in the NFL. Yeah. And I mean, let's be honest, even if we say he does quote unquote retire now, he still made enough to where he's chilling forever.
Oh yeah, he should be good. Yeah.
I mean, I think
that means he still made $180 million the last couple of years he's been with the Browns.
Yeah, and it is a sad situation though, because he was obviously, I would say he was elite before everything happened, and then he just fell off a cliff with everything that happened. So
JB, boy, I see JB in a minute. He driving that little baby Porsche all around, huh? That boy, where you been, JB?
Oh,
good to see you, man. Thanks for checking in.
Man, where you been at? We ain't seen you in a while.
Well, hey, Steven has some things to say about Missouri. Oh, Missouri must have won this weekend.
Yeah. Did they win?
Yeah, they won.
Was it close?
I think it was very close.
Yeah. What do you mean I had something to say? They must have won. We didn't even do a show.
No. I'm saying when they lost, not this weekend.
Oh, you're saying they must have won. That's why he's in here. That makes sense.
Yes.
Now.
Yes. Yeah, they beat Auburn. Oh, they came. I remember that game. They came back. They came from behind to beat Auburn. Scored 15 in the fourth quarter.
Gotcha. Yeah, I didn't watch that one. But yeah, I think Deshaun Watson's career is done. You don't know the story.
Story about what? You talking about his ankle? I don't. Yeah, I don't know
about his story, man. There's no pictures on the scorecard, man. Don't nobody care about his ankle.
They won. At the end of the day, they're 6-1.
Y'all won the game, man.
They're 6-1. The real question is, how do you feel about the rest of this schedule? Y'all got Alabama, Oklahoma.
I think Oklahoma's done for, though. I mean,
you think so?
They just got waxed by Texas the other week, and then they just lose again.
Did they lose this weekend? I don't think so.
I think so. Oh yeah, South Carolina put it on them.
Oh, they did.
Yeah.
They got thumped. Oh, and Missouri has South Carolina.
Yeah, so I mean, I think Oklahoma, but I mean, this is what I said.
They fired their OC.
Oklahoma did.
Yeah. Literally 3 hours ago.
They need to fire Brent Venables so he can come on back.
Well, I thought you was okay.
Come on back.
All right. I respect.
Come on back to Tiger Town, man. Come on back.
You don't like the defense has been playing. It ain't like
they've been playing.
So why do you feel like you need? What's wrong with the DC you got?
Wes Goodwin's a good DC, but I mean, let's not act like he's Brent Venables. So
if you're doing good,
he's not Brent Venables. He's not Brent Venables.
Oh my goodness! Why you get all? Why your voice get all? Why your voice get all serious? It ain't that serious.
So let me ask you this: so if you had a guy like Kevin Durant, for example, hear me out. If you have a guy like Kevin Durant, right? He's an elite scorer, one of the most elite scorers of all time.
All right.
And you get a guy who's a good scorer, but you have a chance to get Kevin Durant. You're gonna say, we don't need Kevin Durant because we got a good scorer. No, you're gonna get the guy who's better. That's what you want to do. Like, what are we doing right now? You're not gonna say, we don't need Brent Venables because we have Wes Goodwin and we're doing all right.
I don't think the defense has missed a step.
That's not what I said. That's not what I said though.
So what you're saying is if I had let's say Kevin Durant came to my team.
Yes.
I was averaging 30 a game.
Okay.
37-7.
Okay.
Kevin Durant leaves my team. I get another guy, whatever guy be.
25-5-5.
And he's giving me because he's not giving you 25-5-5. I don't believe the defense has dropped off in terms of stats.
Recruiting has dropped off for the defensive side of the ball. What are we talking about?
Well, you still are getting good recruits. You just got one of the top linebackers in Sammy Brown last year.
Okay. Brent Venables and Dabo Swinney was bringing in number one recruiting classes when they were together.
You're talking about both sides when you're getting Trevor Lawrence and Deshaun Watson.
I understand that, but you're also getting elite defensive players.
You're getting elite defensive players now.
Who recruited Brian Brzee?
I don't know. I don't know the story of
Do you know
recruited Brian Brzee.
You know Brian Brzee is a top 5 recruit in the history of recruiting, right?
He is definitely not a top 5 recruit in the history of recruiting.
He has a top 5 grade since they've kept track of it since 2000. The only defensive lineman higher than him is Jadeveon Clowney.
This man made this up.
And okay, now I'm gonna share my screen. I'm gonna share my screen since I'm making stuff up. We're gonna see. We're gonna see.
Top 5 in the history of recruiting.
Okay.
I can name 50 defensive players that are better than him.
Okay.
I'm not Sterling. I'm not saying he wasn't a big prospect. I am saying he wasn't top 5 in history.
No, I'm talking about since they started making the 24/7, whatever that's called. I don't even know what the 24/7 sports website. He's top 5 rated. It's Clowney, I think Robert Nkadichi or whatever, however you say his name.
Yeah,
Trevor Lawrence, and then it's Brzee, if I'm not mistaken. Literally look it up. Why would I just pull that out of my ass? Look it up. Of all names, why would I just bring him up? The names I could have said
because he was a number one. He was a number 1 guy.
But that's my point.
But you're saying all time.
That's since the 24/7 thing. I think they started doing it in 1999.
Go ahead and tell me who recruited him.
Brent Venables.
Okay. Do you believe that maybe he just wanted to go to Clemson? Do you believe that's a possibility?
Maybe. But so that is a possibility. But what I do know for sure is Brent Venables coached him. That's what I do know for certain.
Okay. I'm not saying that he did.
Anything's a possibility. He might have wanted to go to Alabama.
Oh my.
But he went.
What year did he come in?
2018, 2019, something like that.
Now 2018 was Trevor Lawrence. Trevor Lawrence was number 1.
Yeah, I think 2019 then. Because he got drafted in 2023 and he has to play at least 3 years. So it's either 2019 or 2020. I'd have to find the post. I think it was on Instagram somewhere. But you make it sound like I'm just making it up. That's crazy. You're crazy for that.
I'm not saying the man won.
The highest rated football recruit since 2000. Let me see if it's on this list. Okay, so he's on this list.
He was number 3 his year.
Okay.
So how's he 5?
Who's he behind?
Bryce Young and DJ Uiagalelei.
And neither of them are higher rated on this, is what I'm saying.
He was literally the number 3 recruit his year. How's he 5 all time?
Because it's based on the rating. What's his rating? What's Bryce Young's rating on there?
Hold on.
It should have like a 4-digit number or whatever.
Yeah. I don't think it has the number anymore.
Well, it should have the number.
Bryce Young is number 1. DJU is number 2.
How does it not have the number?
I don't know how it does it. I'm just telling you it does it.
Let me pull it up then. Are you on 24/7 Sports?
I am. All right. His composite 24/7 composite number is 0.9995.
Whose?
Breeze.
Yeah, on this one it says 0.9998. Justin Fields has 0.9998. Lawrence has 0.9999. Ronald Powell has a 1 all the way through. Ronald Powell. Rashawn Gary's 1 all the way through, and then Clowney's 1 all the way through. But again, to circle back,
this man got 0.9994.
Yeah, he said Bryce Young said 994. But to circle back, we ain't got a guy of 9995 since Brent Venables was there.
Okay.
So to circle back, I would take Brent Venables over Wes Goodwin. So let me just make sure that
Sammy Young was top linebacker this year.
What's his composite rating?
Oh my goodness. I don't know what his composite
It wasn't 9995. I'll tell you that much. But Sammy Brown, Sammy Young is crazy, by the way. Sammy Brown.
I said Sammy Brown.
You said Sammy Young, bro.
Bro, you wildin'.
Bro, you just said Sammy Young.
You said Sammy Young. I said Sammy Brown.
No, you did not. You said Sammy.
Boy, you wildin'. Watch this bet. Watch this bet.
This man said Sammy Young.
JB, Navy doing good. You should see if you can get a sideline job with him. Score me some ticks to Army Navy. Bro, I don't even have ticks to Army Navy. Bro, I'm not like in charge of the Navy. I'm just a guy. This is like a guy who works in the warehouse of Nike, and you say, man, give me them exclusive Jordans. Like, I'm just a guy. I work in the Navy.
But yeah, I'll take Brent Venables. So hopefully he comes on back. But that probably won't happen.
I think he's in his head coach area. So he may just drop down a couple, he may go to a smaller school, but I think he's in a place where he wants to be a head coach.
We'd love to have him back. But
anybody would love to have him. He's a great defensive coach.
Yeah, I guess.
All right, man.
All right, but that's gonna wrap up this live show.
What is wrong with you?
Nothing. I was gonna say something funny, but I'm not gonna say it. Did you ever figure out what you wanted to tell me that one time that you didn't tell me?
Oh shit! Hold on. I think it's outdated. Whatever it was now.
He said you should go for a promotion. By the way.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Oh, it was I already talked to you about it. It was the Stewart versus Collins numbers.
That's what we want. You want to talk about it or no?
Well, not now because Stewart.
Oh yeah, I definitely don't want to talk about it now, huh? But don't
he's
worry.
Not that, even with that game, he's not 200 yards ahead.
How far is he ahead? It's got to be close for sure. Close to 200.
I don't know what. Let me see what he did.
Evan Stewart right now is at 427.
Okay, let me pull up.
Bo's probably at about 300 right now, if I had to guess.
Yeah, probably.
Maybe a little bit more. I'll tell you right now.
I'll maybe a little bit less.
He's at 317, so he's 110 above him.
Okay.
So we got some work to do.
And that was after him having because he was 2 yards ahead only.
Wait a minute.
Jack still thinks that bum West Virginia quarterback from 15 is the greatest quarterback. I've never said that. You see, he must be talking about Pat White.
Yeah, he's talking about Pat White.
I never said he was the greatest quarterback of all time. I said he was very exciting. Pat White was super exciting.
I miss JB in here, man. He's just in here.
JB just be saying anything. That boy wildin'. It's good to have you back, JB. But hey, we need you now. Lock in with us. Come on. We need you every week.
But that's gonna wrap up.
Don't disappear if Missouri loses. We need you even after Missouri losses. Now, I was here after Ohio State lost. Yeah, Pat White, you racist. What the fuck? I didn't name the guy.
But yeah, that's gonna wrap up the episode this week.
What's wrong with this guy?
I don't know. Let me see when are we gonna go live? Again, let me see if we're gonna do it Friday or not.
Why would we not do it? What you got going on?
I work.
Oh my goodness, this man! Come on, man. We got consistency is the key.
Anyways, we're gonna go live on Wednesday. Wednesday night at around 6 o'clock or 9 o'clock your time because I work Thursday, Friday late, and I know you're gonna be asleep. So okay. We'll go live. We'll go live Wednesday to preview this week's games. We really got to post a video throughout the week too. It's been a little minute.
All right, you said this last week, and I said I'm good.
No, it's on you, bro. It's on you. But you look like Soulja Boy. He said, Drake.
Bro, you said that why it's on me, bro. I told you, hey, I'm good. Let me know.
All right, well, let's just record one after this video then.
That's fine.
You saying that now and then it's when we hang up. Hey, it's late, bro. It's late. I got work tomorrow, bro. It's late. All right, well, that's gonna wrap it up. We'll see you guys Wednesday during the live show. 9:30 or so Eastern. We'll see you guys there.
Now I know what you go. Oh yeah, I got to get back out there and get crew. That's what you gonna say.
That's exactly what I do. But you throwing out governments is crazy. All right, y'all. We'll see y'all Wednesday. Peace out.